Issue 2 is less than 50 words, but it leaves voters with plenty of questions. It's confusing, mostly because neither side truly knows what its overall effects would be. Issue 2 would mandate prescription drug prices match what the Department of Veteran Affairs pays, which is generally 24% less than what drug companies normally charge. So, what's the issue? From former Governor Ted Strickland's perspective, the problem is this.
Corporations and shareholders need to make profits and increase their wealth, but there needs to be some balance to all of this. And things are out of balance when it comes to especially the pharmaceutical industry. Big Pharma is reaping huge profits, and I think they are gouging the American people.
He says Issue 2 could create that necessary balance, but Strickland still remains conflicted on the problem. While he says pharmaceuticals need more regulation, many of his friends and colleagues are opposing the act. Most are Republicans, like Chairman of the Athens Republicans, Pete Kaladas.
I think the problem is this was tried in California and it was defeated. You can't just reduce the cost of drugs by just passing a law and saying, yeah, they're too high, let government reduce them and dictate how much. It doesn't work that way. The free market has to determine that, and that's the most efficient way to control the cost of drugs.
About 80 different organizations are opposing Issue 2, including medical professionals, pharmaceuticals, and many veterans groups.
You just got to be suspicious when groups are pushing this kind of thing and saying all you got to do is pass this and everything will be fine. And you look at the groups that are opposing it, a lot in the medical profession, and that tells you something.
Kaladas says he's unsure prices will even change on the market. But what we do know is the act does not apply to Ohioans who have private or employer-based insurance or Medicare. It impacts state-run agencies like Medicaid, which would affect about 4 million residents. Kaladas also says drug companies sometimes need to spend large amounts of money to make the right drugs, and Issue 2 would restrict that from happening. But Strickland thinks pharmaceuticals need those restrictions.
The fact is that there is no doubt in my mind that Big Pharma has inappropriately marketed these addictive substances. In some cases, they've put out information that they are not addictive. I think they misled some physicians. And I think they've got a responsibility to help deal with this problem.
And part of that problem is that some drugs are out of reach because they're too expensive. Associate Professor at the Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine, Daniel Skinner, says Issue 2 could be the solution.
We don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but that's true of many bills. But what I do know about it is that it's a great example of an attempt to try to get drug prices under control, and I don't know who could be opposed to that.
Proponents like Skinner claim Issue 2 would also save Ohioans $400 million in taxes. But an analysis by the Ohio Office of Budget and Management determined changes in taxation and prices are impossible to predict because they don't know how the drug industry will respond. If approved, the law will take effect in 30 days. A lot is still up in the air, but there's something both sides agree on. Voters need to read between the lines, do research on the ballot, and know that what's written doesn't always guarantee a positive change one way or another. With The Outlet, I'm Connor Keurig.